Hi you guys. Okay, so this isn't the video I was planning on uploading today, but I wanted to just quickly chat about some things that are going on with our pregnancy so far. This is like a in real time video, so the day I film this is the day I'm uploading this. Usually I like to find out information, process it, and then share it, but I kind of want to share this in the moment because I want to speak with women who've also experienced what we're going through right now. I learned so much from my audience, and it's very comforting speaking to other women who've experienced the same thing I'm going through, and so I'm hoping to connect with a few people and kind of, you know, hear their thoughts and find that community. Anyways, as you can tell by the title of this video, we had a major scare last night. I started bleeding, and I'm gonna go into, I'll tell you guys the whole story, but just a little overview. I started bleeding, went to the ER, and just to be clear, the baby is fine. As of right now, the baby's completely fine. So I didn't want to withhold that information till like the end of the video or something. So don't worry, everything's okay right now, but let me just kind of give a story time about what happened. Also, if I look really tired, I am. We had a really rough night. We thought we were losing the pregnancy, and I'm just like puffy. I was crying. I didn't sleep very good last night, but we are definitely counting our blessings today. Anyways, where should I start? So I am what I think, according to like IVF calculations, 6 weeks and 5 days pregnant as of today. So yesterday is when everything happened, and I was 6 weeks, 4 days pregnant, and I was feeling fine, all the normal symptoms. I actually started to experience a little bit of nausea. When I get hungry, I start to get nauseous, but that's about as far as it goes, and it's typically in the evenings or like late afternoons. But I was having very mild symptoms, but that's normal for me. I still had tender breasts. I still was very hungry. I was having the nausea like I was talking about. Ty and I were outside teaching Scarlett to ride a bike, like helping her ride her bike without training wheels, and I got super nauseous. So I'm like, okay, symptoms are still happening. At like 5:30, I was sitting at my desk, just sitting down, doing some work, and I felt a gush. And I like, sounds odd, but like I reached my hand in my pants and I like touched it because I was like, what just happened? Like, what is that? And I took my hand out, and there was blood on my hands. And we've been through a miscarriage before, and so all of those emotions, those feelings, everything hit me right then and there. I remember just saying no. Like, I just kept repeating that, and I ran to the bathroom. I'm gonna start crying. I'm sorry, these emotions are also still very, very much there. We haven't really had a chance to process this yet, but talking about it does help. Anyways, I ran to the bathroom and I call for Ty, and he comes in, and I show him, and he just hugs me, and we've both been there. We've experienced miscarriage before, and we just felt like that's what was happening. We thought we were losing the pregnancy, and you know, it's that time period where, you know, miscarriages are commonly happening in pregnancy and early pregnancy, and so we were like, well, this is it. Like, this is the end for us. Literally all the emotions. Miscarriage is hard. It is very hard. But when it's IVF, it hits a little different. You've gone through so much to get to the pregnancy. Thinking of losing the pregnancy is beyond hard. Beyond. It was just an overwhelming sense of, I don't know, it was a lot to process. And he just held me, and you know, I was just sitting on the toilet, and I was bleeding bright red. So it was bright red. It wasn't a lot, like the gush was sudden, but if I was like sitting on the toilet, it was just like a couple drops of blood, and it wasn't like spotting. It was more than spotting, but it wasn't a lot of blood. So I just kept thinking, like, this is the beginning. Like, it's all beginning now. It's gonna get worse. Like, I'm gonna start bleeding more, and then I'm gonna miscarry. Like, that's what's gonna happen. So anyways, we like took a second. We called, we're in like the middle phase of transitioning to our OB. So I called my OB, and I called my fertility clinic because I'm like, I don't know who to call. And I left voicemails at both of them. My OB called me back and said, hey, like, you should probably just go get checked out at the ER. And then my fertility clinic called me back and they're like, yeah, don't worry about going to the ER, like, you know, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. So I had like two perspectives and I was like, okay, we can either wait until tomorrow, try to make it through the night, but being the type of people that we are, we're like, we want clarity now. If like we're miscarrying, like just tell us, like we just wanna know. And so we were like, okay, if we can find somebody to watch Scarlett, we will go to the hospital and get evaluated and just, you know, see what's going on. And so I called my friend Bailey and she was free, totally willing to take Scarlett, so grateful for her. And yeah, we packed Scarlett up, told her she gets to go play at our friend's house. She was so excited. She had no idea what was going on. Bless her heart. And we took her to my friend's house and Ty and I headed to the ER. This was at about, I don't know, I think we got there around 6:30. We got checked in. They saw us pretty quickly. We were actually in the ER a couple nights ago at a different hospital for Scarlett because she like got a really high fever. It was really scary, to be honest, but she's totally fine now, on antibiotics, doing great, no longer contagious. But yeah, too many ERs in a couple of days. It's been a lot. So anyways, we make it to the ER and they do like a vaginal, what do you call it? Like they just look at everything and she sees a little bit of bleeding, the doctor does, orders me an ultrasound, orders me blood work, and I'm like, okay, like I don't know, when you've experienced miscarriage before and you're bleeding, you just immediately assume the worst. You assume the worst to, I don't know, protect yourself. I guess if like I'm assuming the worst and they tell me the worst, then at least like I was already there. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyways, they do the pelvic, whatever. They look at my pelvic area. They do the ultrasound. So the hardest part is when the techs do the ultrasound at the hospital. I don't know if it's, I mean, I think my OB's the same way. They can't tell you anything, nothing at all. And I'm literally sitting there on the table while they're doing a vaginal ultrasound for like, it was like a 30-minute ultrasound. They look at everything. And I am just like, she knows what's going on. Why can't I know? Like, just tell me, is there a heartbeat? Like, what is going on? I know they can't. I know they legally cannot tell you anything, but I'm like, come on, just give me a sign. Like, give me a hint. Like, raise your right hand if, like, you see a heartbeat. I don't know. It was really hard laying there doing the ultrasound and not knowing what was going on. I kind of did something though, so I don't know if I should even say this out loud. So after she performed the ultrasound, I was left in the room to put my clothes back on, and I just like went around and peeked at the monitor because like they have it turned away from you. And I was like, I'm just gonna go look at it and see if like she left anything up. And I did. And I saw the measurement of like the fetus, and I saw a heartbeat. Like she had it written in. So I was like, oh my God, oh my God, there's a heartbeat. Like, I feel like that's what it is. Like I'm like looking at it and I'm like, why else would there be numbers written in on my chart for a heartbeat, like a fetal heartbeat? I'm like, there was a heartbeat. She found a heartbeat. So I'm like freaking out, but like trying to get dressed at the same time. And I want to go back to like our triage room and tell Ty. So I saw that, and I get back like on the bed because they like wheeled me in on the bed, and she like wheels me back to our triage room, and they leave us in there. And I'm like, Ty, I don't know for sure, but I think there was a heartbeat because I peeked at the screen and I saw numbers written in for the heartbeat. The heartbeat was at 126. And I don't know, I immediately was like trying not to get my hopes up because I'm like, what if that was wrong? Like, what if, I don't know how to read this. Maybe I was like looking at the numbers wrong or something. So we kind of got our hopes up at that point. We were like, okay, well, if there's a heartbeat, then like maybe, I don't know, maybe we're in the early stages of miscarriage, or I don't know. Like, I didn't even know what to think at that point. I was so convinced we were miscarrying, and then seeing that information, I was like, wait, what? Like, what is going on? So anyways, we wait. We were waiting for, I don't know, a good 2 hours maybe. and my bleeding started to lighten up a lot. Like, I kept going to the bathroom to check, and it was starting to lighten up a lot. So I was like, okay, like, this is what is happening. Anyways, we were like waiting, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom one last time and watch. As soon as I get up to go to the bathroom, the doctor's gonna come back and give us our results. And sure enough, as soon as I got up to go to the bathroom, the doctor came in and came to give us our results, and I was in the bathroom, so then we had to wait more. But that was just like a funny little lighthearted moment between Ty and I during the whole situation of it being so stressful. We were like laughing about that. Doctor comes in, she sits down, and she goes, listen, your baby has a heartbeat. It's at 126 beats per minute. Your pregnancy hormones are measuring, or are right where they should be, so they did do a blood draw. My HCG was right where it should be. Progesterone, estrogen, like everything was perfect. The baby was perfect. She said that the reason I was bleeding is because I have a subchorionic hematoma, or subchorionic hemorrhage. I think it's the same thing. And she asked like if we knew what that was, and doing like our own research, I had actually read about that, and I don't know, I guess I didn't think that's something that I would have, but sure enough I do, and that was causing the bleeding. So I'm still in the process of learning about the subchorionic hematoma. I'm gonna read the definition to you guys so I don't say this wrong, but basically it's like a pool of blood between the lining and the baby, I think. Chorionic hematoma is the pooling of blood between the chorion, a membrane surrounding the embryo, and the uterine wall. And it occurs in about 3.1% of all pregnancies. So the good thing about this is usually they resolve on them like their own. They don't usually affect the pregnancy. I think they can heighten the chance of miscarriage a little bit more. I'm not entirely sure, but for the most part, they're pretty common. And something I didn't know that I've learned is they're really common in IVF pregnancies. So I had no idea. Nobody ever told me this. I wish, like, even my fertility doctor would have said, hey, like, there's an extra risk of having a subchorionic hemorrhage when you do IVF. Like, I wish I would have known, because then maybe I would have not lost all hope the second I saw blood. Also, I should mention, I was having cramping during this entire thing. The cramping literally started as soon as the blood came, and I'm still having light cramping right now, but it's not near as bad as it was last night. And I would say it was like a 4 out of 10 on a pain scale. It wasn't that bad, but it was noticeable cramps that I have not experienced, like period type cramps. But yeah, so I have the subchorionic hematoma, and that is what's causing the bleeding. I only bled for like 3 to 4 hours, and it was light, but it was noticeable. It's very noticeable. I haven't been bleeding this morning. My cramps are still there, but they're very mild. I'm honestly just in shock. Like, we had full intentions of walking in there, being told we're miscarrying, and then going home. And I think a lot of women feel the same way when they see that. And so that's another reason why I wanted to film this video and share it, because everything was fine, but I was bleeding, and I don't know, maybe if somebody else goes through this too, maybe they'll have a similar experience. But I don't know. It was seriously so scary. We've done so much to get to this point of pregnancy, and you know, I mean, we're still, like, things could still happen. We're still super early, and you know, I'm just hoping every single day that our baby keeps growing and everything is okay, and this hematoma corrects itself, which I think it will, according to all my research. Let me know if you guys had this experience too. I've already talked to quite a few women over on Instagram. I shared just a story saying, like, we had a scare, and I had a bunch of people message me and say, hey, I don't know if this is what it is, but if it was a hematoma, this is what happened. Everything's fine. So it's crazy. Like, you guys just know me. You know me. As of right now, I've been in contact with my fertility clinic. They wanted to see me today initially, but then I talked to my doctor, and he's like, actually, like, no, like, we want to give your pelvic some rest. So I'm on pelvic rest right now, and they're gonna see me on Thursday. Yeah, I guess we just wait and see. Hopefully it corrects itself. But the fact that our baby had a heartbeat was incredible. I wish I could have heard it. I never actually, you know, got to hear it, but it's there. Definitely not the way I was expecting to hear our baby's heartbeat, or like find out about our baby's heartbeat, but whatever. It's there. It's strong. you know, taking our blessings when we can, being grateful for what we can, and yeah, that's what's going on. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated after our appointment on Thursday, and we're just gonna take it day by day and hope, you know, hope for the best. And I'm gonna take it easy. I'm not, like, my doctor told me no need to do bed rest, no need to do anything other than pelvic rest, so like no intercourse or anything like that. But yeah, apparently hematomas are super common in IVF pregnancies. Who would have known? Who would have known? But yeah, I wanted to film this and get this up for you guys so I could kind of explain what's going on. So thank you guys for following along and listening to today's video. And if you, again, had any experience with a subchorionic hematoma, natural pregnancy, or IVF pregnancy, I am very curious to chat with you, so comment below if you are comfortable, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. I filmed a pregnancy Q&A yesterday, and I was going to post that today, but with everything happening, we're going to post that at another time, so that will be up soon. I don't know when, but that's what's going on, and I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.